One of the biggest medical fears that, quite frankly, all of us think about and to some extent worry about is Alzheimer's. Worrying about possibly getting it, worrying about possibly having to care somebody who may have Alzheimer's disease. Well, our next guest is somebody who has been a caregiver and is now doing something about it for thousands of people, potentially around the world. We're joined today by Kay Hammond, who's the founder of ALZ Life Matter, and we want to thank you, Kay, for joining us on the program today.
My pleasure.
A little bit about your background. You started off in this whole process on Alzheimer's as a caregiver.
Yes, I was thrust into the role as caregiver. My father was having some surgery. Excuse me, let me back up and say my mom has Alzheimer's. My dad was going to have some surgery, so I said I will come out and spend 2 weeks with mom while you recover and go home. And 7 months later, I was still there because my dad's surgery was not successful. And I eventually moved my parents near me and placed them in a private home. And my mother resides there today. But I learned through the School of Hard Knocks and tried to find a lot of answers as quickly as I could.
We all use the internet today, and my assumption would be, well, I'd put in Alzheimer's care and all kinds of great information would come up for me on the internet. You found out that's not necessarily the case.
Well, a lot of information does come up, and here's the challenge. There is so much information. Certainly a good percentage, or the greatest percentage, is about the disease. Not as easy to find out from a caregiver's perspective how to care for someone, what's going to happen, what are the greatest resources, which is the best direction to take. I was so overwhelmed myself, and I have some experience with doing internet work, but I was really overwhelmed. You would also go from link to link to link, you not remember where you were, try to go back to that place and so forth. And I found, frankly, that 6 months into all of this work, I would still discover, pots of gold, if you will, in resources. And I thought, my God, why is it so hard to find this? So my intention was to try to streamline this process to help other people, and that's what I'm doing.
All right, so this is going to give people an opportunity to get involved with your group, to become a member.
Yes.
And then to have access to a variety of things that will help as a caregiver. And we're going to have you back for more segments. But my understanding is there's lots of information out there that could be helpful to somebody, but you have to sift through lots of other things. And like you said, a lot of it is the medical aspects, which might be interesting, but really doesn't help you on the day-to-day care basis of that person that you love.
That's correct. And that was my intention. I wanted to save people the time, energy, and certainly the money that I invested so that they could find this more quickly. Also, you have very little time to do a lot of this digging when you're a full-time caregiver for someone with Alzheimer's. And I'm talking about what usually happens in families is, because it is a slow progressing disease, sort of sneaks up on you. And then one day you feel like your back is to the wall and you need the answers now.
We all want to be knowledgeable about all these areas of our lives, whether it's our finances or taking care of our grandkids or dealing with somebody who may have Alzheimer's. So we all find seminars, we get things in the mail.
Yes.
Come to this seminar and learn about your investments. Come to this seminar and learn where to go to travel with your grandkids. Go to this seminar to learn about how to be an Alzheimer's caregiver. You were saying the problem there is they're pedaling as fast as they can, don't really have time to deal with their own needs, much less take a day to go to a seminar.
Yes, and interestingly enough, in this role of full-time caregiver, when I graduated into care management, which I am now in by overseeing my mother's care, I thought, I'm going to put all this information together and I'm going to do a series of seminars, 2 hours for 3 weeks in a row. And all of a sudden I said, and when would I have gone to that seminar? How would I have gotten someone to come in advance? And even if you could, last minute things really do happen. And so my early on experiences dealt with people calling at the last minute and saying, my husband just drove the golf cart into a ditch, or this just happened with my wife, or I can't leave my father, I thought I could. So the idea was, why not make this available to you anytime that it is convenient? And so we segued into the internet world.
So what people are going to be able to do for a little less than $20 a month is join the organization, become a part of the program, have access to all this material, literally a library of helpful information. ways to find out information, and, if you will, a support group via the internet at
Correct.
times. People can share information with other people who may have a similar question.
Right. We have a library of videos that are produced by an award-winning organization called Terra Nova Films, a library of videos specifically for the caregiver to understand how to manage situations, to anticipate what's going to happen, and then have some preparation to adapt to that. We have videos for caregiver self-care, very important, and I've produced ebooks to go along with all of those, so you can download those, and those can be your cheat sheets, if you will. And then also, we have a complete library of resources, and we've streamlined it so that if you're looking for information about the disease or the range of diseases within dementia, here are the best places to go. If you're looking for information about how to get Harry to stop driving or Mary to stop driving, here are the best resources to go. So we've given you a really nice index and streamlined it, and I have literally hundreds of resources for you to use, and some great forms, by the way, that are just priceless.
Obviously, the caregiver to provide the care needs to be here. When we were talking before the program, you folks shared with me that 70% of caregivers die before the Alzheimer's patient passes away.
That's right.
So they're not going to be able to be assisted, and that person's going to be at the mercy of
Whomever.
whatever. Other family members, maybe. A government system, maybe. A health insurance program, maybe. Maybe they planned ahead for private insurance, home care, maybe not. So the caregiver needs to take care of themselves as well, and
They
you're
do.
going to help them survive this process, get through it, and hopefully be able to give as much help as possible to that Alzheimer's patient.
That is a very big part of my mission. The statistic that you gave is very real. It's startling. It's hard to really believe it until you look around at friends and family that are contending with this. It is an absolutely exhausting condition for a caregiver to manage. The personality changes with the person with Alzheimer's or any other form of dementia. The personality changes, the behavioral changes, the uncertainty from time to time as it progresses. More things happen that you are caught unaware by. So you're worn out. Also remember that all of these things happen to this person you love and adore, but they can't participate in any decision making anymore. They can't help balance the checkbook, or they can't run to the market for you. They can't help do the taxes. They can't mow the lawn. All of these different things now fall on the shoulders of the caregiver. They
Right.
can't cook the meals anymore. Perhaps it's the wife or the,
Yeah.
So all of these things fall on the shoulders of one person.
We're out of time for this
Yes,
segment. Can we get
thank
you
you.
back in a few weeks
I'd
and
be
talk
honored.
about some of these other things?
Thank you.
One of the issues is the intimacy issue.
Yes.
One of
very
the
much.
issues is the children and the grandchildren. How do we deal with all of that?
Right.
So lots of areas of expertise that you're going to
Thank you.
bring and share with our viewers here on the program. We've got the phone number on the screen. We've got the website on the screen. If you want more information, you can contact them and find out more about ALZ, Life Matter, how to be a subscriber, how to tap into this great source of good information for you. Kay, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, my pleasure.
We'll be right back with more as our program continues for you right after this brief timeout. So we're